Is this thing on?
Welcome to the RCAD. We've got $1 million contract going on, so Nick cannot be bothered by this like high pressure, writing a song, learning a melody, whipping it out. It's just he's not used to whipping it out on the spot.
Yeah, I'm not that New Yorker columnist that just whips that out on the Zoom call.
So welcome
I've
to
never heard of that guy till that. So.
Me neither. Until today, they're like he got fired. I was like,
a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Maybe he did it on purpose, so people would know who he is.
Exactly. Now I made a name for myself. This is gonna make me huge.
I go, who did what? I go, and then I saw the picture. I go, oh, I still don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Not that I'm condoning it, but I'm just saying I didn't know who he was.
Well, you certainly condone the arts.
Oh yeah,
Or,
you have to support the arts. Not like you. I don't suppress the arts. I support the arts.
Look, my background is fucking cool. Yours is just some shit. No, literally, for those listening on the podcast.
And some corn.
Mm.
Yeah. You gotta have your vegetables, right?
I'm gonna be around those vegetables.
Oh, it's so weird. I'm looking at the wrong screen. I'm watching the YouTube feed as I'm talking to you guys. I'm like, wait,
oh, it's all tricking you out. Yeah.
I just like to put Chris on the spot.
Thanks,
so.
bud. Appreciate it. I don't know
Oh,
why.
by the way, I watched The Mandalorian, but that's okay.
Did you now?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So for those listening that cannot join us live, next to Jack is a big, huge pile of Play-Doh poo.
Is it?
I don't know, but you sure act shitty every time we talk about doing a podcast without you,
Mr. Hanky.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
You must be butthurt because that passed through somebody.
Yeah.
I think it was you.
No, not necessarily. I have grandkids.
Oh, did
Chris,
they
you
make
muted.
that for you? Is that like one of those like?
No,
fruits?
I made it.
There you go.
I'll tell you, I can't believe that they're still together after all that shit.
Who's still together?
Wait.
My butt cheeks.
Walk into that one.
I had me too. I'm like,
You got us all with that one.
yeah.
Wiped it clean. So you must have. I can tell you have a, good control over that.
No John the UPS man.
I'll be here all week.
That might be the funniest thing I've heard you say on this podcast.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I stole it from somebody else, but it worked.
I meant today, but yeah,
Oh,
like
fair enough.
You cracked it. That's no.
So what is new with you guys? What have you guys been up to over the?
Oh, what is new?
Survived my grandkids all week. Last week.
Let's say it's only Tuesday.
No, this week I just had 2.
I had the 99 for takeout tonight. It was awesome.
What's
What
a
is the
99?
99?
Oh, is that a regional thing? The 99?
This is Jersey
What?
Mike's.
99 restaurants?
Oh yeah, we all know that one.
Oh, it's not a great restaurant, but it's very serviceable. And when you go there, they serve you like that, movie theater popcorn on your table. And they gave me a bag of popcorn. This is all that's left. But
Wow, I was gonna say that's a pretty big bag of popcorn.
I thought that was like a large quarter.
No, a half even.
You couldn't time out. You just couldn't finish the rest of it.
Oh no, I will. I will.
But I'm
That's
saying
why I have it here with me.
there's like 3 bites left, right? Like three kernels left.
Well, there was 87 bites left when I brought the bag down here. I've been noshing on it for a while, and I do plan on
even
finishing.
what? Notching on it?
Noshing. Yeah, but it's the end of the bag of that type of popcorn, so it's just like a minefield of shit to get stuck in between your teeth.
That is true. That's true. 86 to bag.
Sherry is ready to be entertained. No pressure.
Sherry.
I did some artwork before. I don't know if I can do too much.
Some of the men on this podcast cannot perform under pressure, so
I am old enough to remember when there were Patriots fans. I am old enough to remember that.
You know, it's funny because I called it like a year ago. I was talking to Chris when like they were winning everything, and they won hockey, they won baseball, they won basketball, they won everything. I was like, you're just setting up your kids for like a lifetime of disappointment.
Yeah,
because they're just going to come crashing down. And then it's going to be like 20 years before they're good
You're
again.
gonna go through what I went through as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally don't see any of it anymore.
Yeah, it's because they're all fucking got coronavirus.
Oh my gosh!
Or they got
It's on your quarantine.
or Brady-less virus.
Can I just say that teaching under quarantine is just, I don't know, like every teacher deserves like a medal. I don't even feel like I've done my shared duty, but
Duty.
It is so frustrating because I've had students that have not shown up at all contact me all of a sudden, like, hey, I want to come to class, but my brother just tested positive for COVID, so I can't come in for 2 weeks. I'm like,
Are they being honest though?
well,
Do they
okay, if they are,
doctor's
like
note?
you've already missed like there's at least several weeks, like 4,
Who
5.
signs up for art class and doesn't attend?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Do
Yeah,
they know they'll be modest?
You sign up for that. It's like you can just go and like with one eye open and fucking get through it.
It's a little frustrating because we can't really. Sherry noticed Jack's new hair tonight.
Yeah, see, me too.
He's growing out the beard. Is that like a no shave October?
Yeah, you're not on Facebook, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right. You didn't.
What?
You put it on. You put it on Instagram too.
Oh, I did. It was on Instagram too. That's right.
Yeah. So Jack
I'm not-
either put on a bad
not-
wig or had a digital image on, but he basically it was Jack with a thick.
It's actually something my wife bought to put on the top of her head, and she didn't like it
Oh,
because I said doesn't match her hair color. It didn't. So it was sitting there, so I just put it on top of my head, and then she straightened it all out, and then I took a picture.
gotcha. Okay,
So that's what it was.
so it was like basically a toupee.
Okay.
Yeah.
It brings to mind like what else you guys are doing with these dress up things. So in your free time, but
What free time?
Yeah, he's got like 6 kids running around all the time.
Yeah. I'm too busy not being included on podcasts, so it's like,
okay.
I mean, I am going to be on the West. I'm going to be on the West Wing. Is it a patrons podcast?
Yeah, I believe so. This is going to be
Okay.
a patrons
Yeah,
exclusive
if you're a
podcast, from what I
patron,
understand.
if you're one of the Jay and Jack patrons, this Saturday, if you're a fan of the West Wing, we're doing
And
a
who
West
isn't?
Wing
Saturday.
podcast.
Yeah,
Saturday
football, man. What the heck?
night. Saturday night, 9:30.
Yeah.
Look, we talked about this like 2 years ago.
This episode's 3 years in the making. And
Yeah, has it been that long?
yeah,
The
and of
budget
course
is
it's
out of control.
happening when they're smack dab in the middle of
And
my
it's
work.
sad because I almost said no. I go, I don't know.
I got a busy ass weekend coming up, and unfortunately, I will not be able to make it. If there's some ungodly reason I can figure out a way to be there, I'll try, but I don't think so.
Well, I'll be there. I think Amanda's there. And I think Colleen will probably be there. I don't know about Jay.
I've only seen like the
Matt's never seen it because
episode.
Matt hates good TV.
I've never seen it either.
No, there was a lot of other stuff going on at that time period in my life.
Yeah, it hasn't been on Netflix or anything in the last 20 years. So
Even Cherry says she's never seen it.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Actually, half the podcasters here have not seen it. So
no, it's
wait.
great
Up
TV.
down, I've not seen it. Chris and Jack have seen it.
Yeah, I've
Right,
seen it.
right. This is the dividing line right here.
Oh,
I've seen it several times. So, but I like good TV. So
Whatever.
You just like throwing shade and shit at us.
Sherry's never seen it, but Sherry hasn't seen a lot of things, right?
You don't know.
What was the show that
She
she never?
could literally be an encyclopedia of media
No.
and just chose not to watch.
In an
What was it?
encyclopedia.
Sherry, what was that show you hadn't seen that we had to convince you to watch? You're like the Chris of not watching things.
The Chris of watching things. Now, I know what you're saying. However, there is somebody on this podcast that still has not decided to dive in on Breaking Bad because of some weird prequel kind of like.
All right, that I get it. That's just stupid, but that's I don't want. I
Like-
can't remember
like
who
just-
it was.
I only got
Come
one more
on,
season
like-
left. One more season. of
Just-
Better Call Saul, and then I can
But-
get.
I mean,
Okay,
you can
but what
watch,
if-
you can watch both. It's not going to ruin it for you.
It could.
Yeah.
You don't know.
No. No.
Okay, but think about this though. How did the prequels ruin the drama of the original trilogy? So is Better Call Saul going to ruin the drama of Breaking Bad? I
just
think
doing
Vince
an experiment.
Gilligan, I think he would say you should watch Breaking Bad.
I agree.
I'm gonna tweet at him
Yeah.
and just see.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
they'll answer right away.
Yeah.
Sherry said it's some crappy Godfather movie. She didn't like the guy. That's what it was. You didn't like the Godfather?
Everybody likes The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. It's just Godfather Part 3 that nobody likes.
Yeah, that's probably the one she watched.
Yeah. She probably started with that one. Yeah.
She goes, "How come Michael Stoddard can't act?"
At all. Apparently, I was reading the other day that was supposed to be Winona Ryder. And she
How
couldn't-
was it?
She couldn't do it because of some other movie she was
Oh.
doing at the time.
Edward Scissorhands probably at
And
the time.
and,
Beetlejuice.
they went with
I mean, she was-
they went with the 30th
'Cause that-
choice.
Well, that's why that she did Bram
She's too busy
Stoker's Dracula right after, because Godfather Part 3 bombed so bad that he needed to have a good film, so he did Dracula, and that's why Winona Ryder's in that. It's because she couldn't do Godfather Part 3, so she said, I'll do the next one you do. So
Maybe she read the script.
maybe. Apparently, though, did we discuss that? Apparently, he's
Chocolate
recutting.
thing on Rodeo
He's
Drive.
recutting the entire movie, like right now, to re-release Godfather Part 3 with like an alternate ending, and the scenes are going to be in different sequences.
Just fucking drop it.
Yeah, let it go.
Okay.
It's not going to work.
Not you, Nick. Not you.
Oh.
Sorry.
Fuck you, Nick. Drop it, Nick.
Fine. Well, we're not talking about the Godfather more.
Your-
Fine.
your
Whatever.
Chicago references.
Sherry's just kidding because she hasn't seen it yet. Okay, Chris Sherry. We'll call you Chris Sherry. How's that? That work? How's that for entertainment, Chris Sherry?
I never saw it because I have time. I never have the time since I rewatch Pan Am series every month, which I don't know if you guys watched that or not, but it was like half a season. It got canceled.
I did watch the Pan Am series.
I like the Pan Am series.
I did not hate it.
Yeah.
In fact, a friend of
Okay.
mine thought it was still pissed that it canceled it.
Okay, so
Oh,
this
I
is a
like
deep
that.
this is a deep callback because this is Miami
Yes.
Mike, and he was on a podcast for years with Jack telling the story. So
No, I thought Russ liked it.
maybe was it Russ that liked it?
I mean, I know I told the story because a friend of mine
Yeah.
is still pissed they canceled it. All right, I like the show, but I've gotten over it. I mean,
Yeah.
they did leave us hanging.
Yeah.
The
Well, it's
Godfather's not,
interesting.
the Godfather's not something, Chris Sherry, that you have to wait for it to be free.
No.
I'm telling you that right now.
It's that old.
You don't want to watch it on regular TV because
I'm
they're
gonna
going
go ahead and say
they're gonna-
she doesn't have to wait to watch it. I think she should just drop it, like we are all wishing the remake wouldn't be made. You don't have to watch The Godfather Part 3.
No.
No, she's
And
talking about
you can stop it too and be perfectly happy.
she's talking about the first one.
Oh,
What?
I believe she's talking about the first one. She's never seen The Godfather.
Oh. Well,
Well,
you
need
should
to
watch
watch
that one. Yeah, you can watch that one.
Well, she's saying she's waiting for it to drop somewhere for free. Now, Godfather, pay the $3.99 and rent it. You don't want to
oh,
watch
yeah.
on.
Wow.
Randy said AMC. I said no because they're gonna.
They'll cut it. Yeah.
It's a 3-hour movie and it's going to be 10 hours on AMC with all the
Yeah.
commercials.
I
just
bet
rent
if you have Amazon Prime, you could probably just look it up and it'll probably be free to you on Amazon Prime.
There is a scene. It's not a spoiler or anything, but there is a scene that takes place in Italy. There's a character that has to go there to Italy.
Dude,
And-
it's on. Wait, is it on?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that part would be completely edited out of the
You
AMC
talking about the, you
version.
talking about the
you
really
know.
quick boob scene that's in the first
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. No, Friday is what you said.
It's
right?
available on every streaming service, but not for
Yeah.
free.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Chris Sherry, you want to go watch it. I would watch it this weekend.
Oh yeah, look at that new cut of Godfather 3 to premiere in theaters
See?
and on video on demand for the
So
30th anniversary.
They're going to release it during the COVID season, so it kills you twice.
So the third,
You may
the
die
third one
before
was,
the ending. Yes, I got that. Yes.
the third part was almost not called that. It was almost just called the death of Michael Corleone, which would be great because then it would just kind of remove it from the whole
Yeah.
titans of 1 and 2 because it's
Spoiler
really
alert.
I think the sad thing, we're picking on Sofia Coppola as an actress, but she's a great director.
But
Right?
the spoiler alert though about that title though, I would just say is that the entire time you're watching it, you're kind of looking for it and you're waiting for it and you don't know when it's going to happen. So it kind of looms like this background, like you kind of know, like if you've watched the other movies, like what, you're kind of like waiting for this. And so,
Well, when Michael again's going, hoo-ah! He's so upset.
that's the epilogue. Like
Okay.
he actually he passed out, had amnesia, woke up from a coma, and then all of a sudden he's blind. So
And then it goes right into Sin of a Woman. That's why he's so bitter. He's just like in that little garage the whole time. He's like, the fuck.
that's
I take a
looking.
flamethrower.
So
Hey,
Miami
you're
Mike,
out of order. You're out of order. Is that what he says?
Miami Mike brings this up. Is there anything worse in Godfather than what Breaking Bad or Walking Dead showed on AMC? I would say not. So some of the scenes in Walking Dead are by far more brutal, even when you take Sonny's death. Oh shit, that was a spoiler.
To me, it's not really that brutal today. I mean, but they don't know
I
who
don't
Sonny
I
is.
don't have to watch it.
Well, you know that it's not good. Robert Duvall is not in part 3, and so if no Robert Duvall, it's not any good.
Well, why wasn't he in part 3?
I
This
just
part was
checked.
too small.
I did the dirty work here. You can rent the Godfather trilogy movies for $3.99 each on.
That's right.
You really only have to watch
iTunes.
It's $1.33
TV.
per film. That's
And-
absolutely.
And
justified.
considering Sherry's telling us that she lived in Italy for 3 years, $3.99, like 3 movies.
But they're in
There you go.
Sicily, so like they're in the pretty but really sketchy part of Italy. So I don't know if you went down south.
They make olive oil.
Yeah.
They were
It's-
dead the whole time.
Randy makes a comment. Yes, it is basically like gangster Hamlet, or mafia Hamlet. So
Where do you see that?
I think it's the other one.
Randy. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So what else
you
is
support
new
the
this
arts.
week?
You know Hamlet.
I too. I know Piglet.
What else is new?
I know Piglet, Hamlet. I know them all.
Speaking of trilogies that disappoint, so on Sunday IFC had the Karate Kid trilogy on because I guess because of the IFC International Film Channel.
I don't have that. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Usually like the basic cable. So anyway, they had those on, and everyone's seen the first one. The second one, though, is one that's very good, but people don't watch it a lot. And I was
I've
like, man,
seen
the second one actually is pretty
Second one's
good.
fucking awesome.
The second one is very good. And I like the second one.
Pretty good to Japan, right?
It's when he goes
Yeah.
to Japan, yeah. And the
Fucking
second one has so many good redeeming qualities about it. Because, you see, Miyagi's old story. You see, what caused him to leave, what made him do what he did. And you see, this touching story between him and his old flame that never got married because, he left. And then she even kind of cries a little bit when he's thinking about, I'm going to go back to the States. She's like, please take me with you. And you're like, oh, it's so great. Then it all resolves. It's great. Danielson found love, so did Miyagi. And then you're like, this is so good. And then you had this turd come out 3 years later called The Karate Kid Part 3, where it just
Awesome.
opens. It just opens like that. Where they're at the airport, no closure whatsoever. It's just like, oh, we just left our women back in Japan and we're just bachelors again. Woohoo! And then it just descends.
They weren't going to
into
give up
shit.
their cars because Miyagi had cool cars. And he said that was the breaking point. They don't show that part, but they wanted one of his cars, and he said no.
Oh, okay.
The girls, they said no. The women, they said no. I'm not giving up my car. Is that the one part 3 where what's his name? John? Is it John? The dojo guy who's the thing where he's breaking the windows in the cars because he
That's a little. They
can't
shot.
hit
Yeah.
Miyagi 2 feet in front of him. Cool.
Yeah, they shot that right after the first film, and that's the opening
Right.
of the second film. But they also showed
That's
it
right.
again in the
That's
third
right.
film.
That's right. Because I'm like going, okay, look, I could hit Miyagi. And I'm literally that close. I could have hit him.
Oh, but I mean, the funniest thing, there's a couple cheesy parts in part 2, but the really cheesy part to me is at the very end of Karate Kid Part 2. Where it's cool because you have the crane in the first one, and this one you had the little drum thing, the wheel thing.
Yeah.
Dude,
But-
the most annoying toy ever spawned.
Most annoying thing, but you don't really see
I
him
had
use
one.
it because the way that they shoot the scene, they're all just showing the shoulders up. So all you see is like this motion from Danielson, and he's literally just bitch slapping the guy to death. And you're just like, this guy's supposed to be a karate master, and he can't defend against the bitch slap technique. Like, that's all he's doing is just bitch slapping him to death.
It's like Rocky. It's the same thing. Throwing that thing. It's just Rocky.
I got one of those as a kid when I visited Disney World or Epcot Center at one of the areas. I think it was probably Japan. Had those for sale. It's like a little hand drums, right? So it's like a stick with a drum on both sides. And it had like a string with a plastic bead on each end. So you turn it, you just rap. My parents.
It's one of those things your parents buy you. And
regretted it seconds after buying it.
That when you go to bed, they cut the strings off and the beads off. The next morning, you're like, what the hell happened?
It was awesome.
Oh, like with the rubber band.
I did that, or my parents did it, but I know it's happened.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I thought my parents were mean, but I get it now as an adult.
Well,
like
dude, they were. I mean, the fucking mask. I mean, come on.
No, but like, okay, so my mom, when we were kids, you got the Sears catalog or the gift book or whatever, in the 80s, and you'd go through it and you'd like circle what you wanted, And so my mom, every year, she would take the clippings of the things I wanted, and then like she would make like a little paper thing of like, oh, this is what Nick wanted in 1988. This is what Nick wanted in 1989. Every single one of them has a drum set on it that's like glued to it. So like I can see like what I wanted every year as a kid. Every one of them has a drum set.
It's like a greatest hits reel of all the shit you didn't get.
I didn't get. That's all. Yeah, exactly. Every one of it's just like, I never got that drum set. Every year I want a drum set. They're like, yeah, we're not getting you a drum set. You banging that damn thing all day long? Hell no.
You could have been a rich rock and roller.
I could have been, yeah. There's no telling.
Gave them some money. It's their fault, right? We hear you play the ukulele.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything I know how to play, I taught myself. I just bought the instrument and then picked it up.
I think a lot of people wouldn't argue with it. I think they believe you.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. But yeah, there's definitely some cool ones.
What's up with the Chicago reference?
I don't know. It was just in my head when I logged in. I went, okay, I'll put that in there.
All right. It's one of the greatest songs, man.
I love that song.
That is one of the greatest overall songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's got everything in it.
Yeah. To me, that's like they're really, really good rocker. I mean, they did a lot of ballads, but like that one is like a good straight up rocker.
It's got everything.
I'll be your man. Hey, isn't that in Karate Kid?
To survive for your honor. Yeah, that's in part 2. Yeah.
See, so there you go.
I absolutely love that song.
He's funny, like
it takes me back to a moment. Like I hear that song, and it's a straight time capsule.
So when you're
I think just that time period.
The fun was you see the girl you have a crush on across the arcade playing a game, and you decide to take up the sticks and fight for her honor.
Yeah.
For me, it was the roller rink.
Oh, the roller rink. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The rollaway,
yeah.
I think you used to call them.
Oh, right.
We had one right on the Interstate 91, and they called it Interskate 91. Very clever.
That is something I do feel sorry for kids these days. They never will experience things like that of like everyone getting excited to go to the roller skating rink and everyone just basically skating around in a circle for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because it was big in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but the 90s, it's, video games started,
Yeah.
You can do it on a computer. Why do it? Why exercise?
Gotta learn social skills.
I tell people all the time. They go, "Why do you cut down your public sessions?" I go, because kids want to be fat. I don't know. You want I mean, seriously, because they don't want to. Kids don't want to exercise. It's boring.
Speaking of that kind of did you see that video of that Zamboni catching on flames on the ice? I gotta hand it to the guy driving that thing. He stayed on the damn thing. It's ablaze. He just drove it back outside.
A couple of people sent it to me, and I said, "Well, at first I was like, okay, but you always need to look back to see how much water you're laying." Literally, that streak of hydraulic fluid was like
that's what she said.
It was like 150 feet. he never looked back. He just gets on it and drives and doesn't. He's one of those people who don't pay attention to what he's doing. I give him credit for how he got the Zamboni off. First it was an Olympia, not a Zamboni.
Oh,
so let's don't tarnish the Zamboni name. It was an Olympia, which is a cheap Canadian version. I think whatever it is, it's a crappy machine.
Yeah. But everyone calls them Zambonis, regardless of what it is. You don't go around going like, "Oh my god, I'm not getting on that elevator because it's not an Otis."
I'm checking out this video. ABC calls it Zamboni catches fire during youth hockey.
Olympia. Olympia is a piece of shit. Just saying. Zamboni's a workhorse. Zamboni you can run into the ground because it's the original. It's named after the Zamboni.
It's like how people get about John Deere tractors. They're like, it's not a Deere, so they're like, that's just an Allison piece of shit.
We had both in the Olympia. Just
holy shit!
See, I told you. Yeah. See, it just goes boom, and the gas stays on it.
Plus it has propane tanks. It could have ignited. But with the hydraulic fluid too. Another thing
he looked back. He saw. Holy fuck!
I just love watching Chris's reaction to that. It's so mesmerizing. It's like sports.
He ran over a body. It's just like a stream of
hydraulic fluid. See, another thing with hydraulic fluid, it doesn't just burst like that. There had to be some drips, and that stuff is like. I want to mention the guy's name. He used to podcast with me on a show that was similar to this one, but had a different name.
Yeah. And then
Jay was on it, and he was on it.
That show is nothing like this show.
No.
You guys took relationship emails.
You can say Tim's name. It's fine.
You guys talked about like bodily things with Q-tips. Like we have not reached that.
Well, it was that guy. So he closes the night before his hydraulic fluid leaked all over the place. It just poured out. I go walking down there, and that stuff is worse than walking on wet ice. It's just like watching Twitch.
You still doing that? Yeah.
No, I stopped doing it because the video capture card I had, which was the one I felt like paying for. I didn't want to spend the extra money. Actually downgrades the video signal to my monitor, so I'm not playing in like 4K or whatever. So I just noticed a visible difference in video
like 3 weeks.
Doing it online.
Speaking of video games, Chris, because I think you're really the only gamer here, did you buy the Star Wars Squadrons game?
I did not, and I didn't because EA Pass is going to be included in Xbox Game Pass in next month. So,
okay.
I wanted to wait and just not have to pay for $40 for it.
Yeah, I'm such a stickler because I remember like an old man. I remember the good old days because I have PlayStation when you could just get online and play for free, but then freaking all the other shit came out and I had to pay to access the internet. I'm like, I already paid for the internet and I shouldn't have to pay to access this. But anyway, so I did buy it. And the guy told me, he's like, well, this is an online only game. I was like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. So there actually is some on-game content. So, and what little I've played, I was like, oh, it's actually pretty fun.
Is it good?
It's good. Like the dual analog sticks throws me off for a playing game, because I'm so used to just one being, rolling and everything else. But
the pitch and the yaw.
Yeah, the pitch and the yaw and all stuff. So I had to really, I had to invert the y-axis and I had to change everything up to get it to where I could somewhat fly the damn thing.
Yeah, and it's a fun game. I mean, they
did a nice
job with it.
Yeah, the graphics are good. Yeah.
I almost bought it, but I was like, it's going to be free if I wait a month. So, including what I've already paid monthly.
Well, I like so far, what the story I've only done the first 2 levels, and it switched back and forth. So you start off as a Imperial pilot, and then the next level you switch to a Rebellion pilot. So you get to experience different.
Some old school gaming there, going back to the TIE Fighter and X-Wing days.
Mm-hmm. I know Jack's really into this one. So.
Yeah, he's fucking.
No, I'm. It's fantastic.
That game looks amazing though.
Yeah.
My brother had sent me a trailer for it, and I was just like, "Holy shit! This is just like the graphics on it
Yeah,
just look
graphics are good,
incredible."
yeah.
So
I don't
is
have
cool.
the attention span like I used to when I was a kid. So like I'll be like halfway through the mission and I'll just hit pause, let it sit there for like a half an hour. Like, okay, now I gotta go back and play it. But I can't do it like I used to and just hammer through it because I'm too much of a perfectionist. If like I see like the checks like to get all the medals, it's like, oh, must complete the mission in 15 minutes. Must destroy this. Must destroy all ties before you defeat the blah. I'm like, God damn it! Now I have to play it again, and I'll keep playing it until I beat the whole thing to perfection. And so that's why also it's just like, I'll play the same thing over and over again.
I'm looking
I
forward
hate it when the ad break just like interrupts the game.
It's the
worst.
It's the worst. And you got to wait. And then you click that X and it's all done.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. So
I'm excited
ahead,
for
Chris.
the new Call of Duty game coming out next month, and I'll be playing on my new Xbox Series
He
X.
said duty.
I know he did. He totally said duty.
Did I tell you guys I pre-ordered the new Xbox? I was one of the lucky ones
nice.
that actually got one.
That is your God-given right, Mister.
Yeah,
As a
nice.
father.
I know it's my dad toys. So I'm looking forward to the new Call of Duty game because it's Call of Duty Cold War. So check. So the campaign portion of the game takes
Wait,
place.
if it's called a Cold War, like, do you sit there and not do anything for like 60 years?
No, it's all about the
You invade other
behind-the-scenes
countries. You invade
black
other
ops
countries.
missions of the that happened during that time frame. So it looks awesome. Like I'm pretty excited for the campaign. I don't usually play the campaign, but I will for this one. And then the new Xbox, I'm pretty excited for. It's going to be pretty sick.
Nice. My nephew called me, or I called him the other day, and I don't know what it is about my sister and my nephew. They must think I'm like Daddy Warbucks or something. Because like she's like, "Have you got me anything for Christmas yet?" No. Well, I kind of want that Lego AT-AT. I'm like, that's $140. You think I'm going to spend $140 on you for Christmas? You got me like a DVD last year.
You just got dad.
Yeah, for real.
Like that is what my son is talking to me
So,
about. And let me
my
tell you,
sister,
What you need to do is you need to get a pair of scissors and go find a catalog with that ad on it, cut it out,
For
and
real.
stick it in the mail and send it to them.
ooh, or
So
you send him a Lego and you send him a little toy AT-AT, and you're like, here you go. So make your own, do it your own.
Well, that was my sister. Then my nephew starts talking to me, and I was a little bit of a dick to him, but that's just me. But like he was like, he's like, Nick, did you hear the new Xbox and PlayStation are gonna come out? I'm like, yeah. He's like,
what? Not even Uncle Nick?
I'm Uncle Nick, yeah.
No, but you just said, hey, Nick.
Well, he called me Nick his whole life because that's kids always double everything like Daddy, Pop, and all things. And so like sometimes he calls me Uncle Nick, but most times it's just Nick.
That's lack of respect. How old is this kid?
He's 12. Yeah.
No Lego for him.
Yeah, well, he wasn't asking for Lego. So he's over telling you, he's like, PlayStation 5's coming out. I'm like, oh, yeah, you want that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm really wanting that. But I think it's like $500. It's like, maybe for Christmas, huh? And I'm like, I ain't spending $500 on you. Like,
I'm spending $140 on you.
Yeah, and he's like, well, he goes, I have a little bit of an allowance. He goes, I think I could probably save up for it. I'm like, what's your allowance again? He's like, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you can get by 2025. By the time PlayStation 6 comes out.
Yeah, and that's going to be about the same time they're going to be available.
Mm.
They're all sold out for like ages.
You take that money, invest it in Bitcoin.
Shit.
Yeah, I am. So speaking of video games, and because I've been off Facebook, I've been, I was doing crosswords for a while, and I like doing the crosswords. But the other day I was just kind of like, I was really, I don't know where this came from, but I was really curious about learning Japanese.
Was that
I
why
just,
Konnichiwa.
I just was like, konnichiwa. I was just kind of like, well, my daughter is learning something, and I think also too, like kind of getting into my 40s, I'm thinking in terms of like, I'm not dead. I'd like to learn more. I would like to.
You're cruising towards 50.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I agree with Chris. I'm getting into my 40s.
Yeah, you're like in your mid 40s.
Yeah, you're
See,
like
Thank you very much. Let's walk
I'm
that back.
just
I'm still in my
getting
early
into my
40s.
No. You are in the mid. You're in the mid section there. Early 40s is 40 to 43. You're in the middle section.
Okay, I'm in the middle
Hi.
section now.
I am early 40s.
Congratulations.
I can say, hey, I'm getting into my early 50s. I'm just getting into my 50s. That makes sense. Okay, go ahead with your story, Matt.
So I decided, well, there's got to be some apps out there. Like I just want to like dip my toe into like learning,
AARP.com.
learning, learning a new language.
Right on your phone.
And specifically,
have you
like
noticed these like Nutrila Balance things that are great. Like you have vegetables and fruits now. You can drink them. And like,
so you're talking me out of this. You're like basically saying, hey,
sure
there's
we
other
will.
things you could do to take care of yourself, Matt. You don't have to go.
I want you to be balanced. All your systems.
You could do word search instead of crosswords.
I mean, you get Centrum Silver rewards too on your phone.
Thank you.
I've been seeing
Glorious
some commercial
John
thing
has
getting
showed
your
up just to
on,
say
too.
that I am old.
That memory
as
stuff, that
fuck.
comes from jellyfish. You should get that too.
All right.
Are you
Screw you
taking
guys? I knew
aspirin every day, Matt?
I knew you
Is
would-
he on aspirin regiment? Like, I hope not.
Yeah, that medical
All right.
alert.
You should read Confucianism Lives Next Door. It's a good book.
So anyway, I just
Next Door is bad. Next Door is
That's
bad.
right. That's what Matt
I
doesn't
just-
want to talk about. See, if Matt really wanted to do something,
He wouldn't
He's
distract with his Japanese bullshit. Like
he could help us. He could help us with
he's
the.
doing this to distract from the actual problem we're having now. The fact that your neighbors are murderers.
Yeah.
Jesus no.
If you
And
His
crossword-
neighbors were murderers.
the documentary, not Matt. No, I'm gonna learn Japanese.
I'm not saying that I'm going to like speak it or I
Episode
know
4 of the
I mean,
Netflix special.
but-
Matt just gonna be walking by in a kimono.
And we'll have to have every time Matt talks, we'll have to have subtitles.
This is like
We're
like a year from now.
Interview.
Like,
I get it. I get. I mean, your extradition, Snowden. Is probably going to be up in Europe, so you're wanting to move to Japan now. I get it.
We're gonna do this super serious interview with the town council. And you're just gonna see Matt in the back with his kimono and his little hand drum. Click, 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 click.
Hey, how do you say murder house in Japanese?
I don't know. I should know house. That was one of the words that I've been practicing. But there's a couple different apps out there. But if you're familiar with learning any type of a foreign language, Duolingo is a very popular app, and it's set up like a video game. So you get these rewards, and like if you miss stuff, that it takes things off, and so it's set up so that it kind of keeps you like coming back and playing the game. So that got a little addictive, and my wife was definitely like, what the fuck? like all of a sudden I'm just like practicing Japanese words, and she's just kind of like, all right, I don't know how long this phase is going to last, but
Just tell her because it's next door. It's you've been possessed.
You guys are focused way too much. There has not been any paranormal activity.
Did
What?
you know? You're speaking Japanese. You're learning Japanese.
No, I don't.
Like in every Japanese film, like when other people being rude to like the dominant Japanese male, like they go from like being really polite to all of a sudden, I'm expecting that to happen from Matt any day now. Just like choose somebody out.
Fair enough.
You don't have
John-
you don't have one of those Harry Carey swords, right? You don't have one.
John, I don't know what you wrote
Harry
there.
Carey here.
So,
Harry
um,
Carey.
but I know some of the characters there, but some I'm still learning. So, and there's
You put
so
that up again.
much.
I think I can read.
Yeah. Well, the little
The wife killed the dad and the kids and buried them in the backyard with no heads. Got it.
the last part.
So his, huh?
The last part is masu.
Well, then I was onto it.
Mas.
Don't you read it from right to left?
No, it's left to right.
That's
So-
Arabic.
But there's different. So as you're learning Japanese, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. So there's hiragana and there's
I know
katakana.
I'm feeling Japanese sometimes.
And they're two different sets of kanji, basically. So,
go ahead.
Anyway, as I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, like this is interesting. Like I think I understand hiragana, and then all of a sudden it shifts over to the katakana, and I'm like, wait, there's all of these letters that you just taught me are now different, or I'm just gonna shut up now. You guys are.
I mean, it's interesting. Like I don't know much about the Japanese written language, but the Chinese language, which was narrowed down after Mao took over.
I was curious to talk to you about this, Nick, because you've been to China.
What about me?
I was fingering the corn.
He was
Korokana. Isn't that corn?
Corn kata?
No.
Corn kata?
No. That's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. So. Anyway, Nick, I know that you've been to Chinese.
I used to be able to write my name in Chinese. I used to be able to spell my name in Chinese.
No, I didn't learn.
I don't get anything for that.
But he's learning Japanese.
Yeah.
No, he mentioned Chinese.
He was talking about how I had been to China.
Yeah, you had been to China.
I used to be able to spell my name in Chinese.
I had a book like that I'd written down, just what I needed to know, and that's all I could learn at the time. Just hello, thank you, my name is, things like that.
Where's the shitter?
Yeah, where's the shitter?
Where's the shitter?
That's exactly what I wrote.
Do you want to see this?
Shitter,
where's the poop? Where do I poop at?
Thank goodness they're still together, or whatever. That's and then you get this really crazy look from them, and you go, "My ass cheeks." They're like, "Oh."
I want to learn French.
That's an experience, though. Like going to the bathroom in China is an experience because they're all squatters. So there's no toilet bowl, Western toilet bowl, and then there's also a lot of toilet paper. Either you have to carry your own everywhere.
So you have to have good aim, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, number one, yeah, but now I'm talking about number two.
Oh yeah, I know. I knew what you're talking about.
But yeah, you have good aim. You have to move your pants, otherwise you don't dump them in your shorts.
Yeah.
But I like China. It's good. I'd go back.
Matt is Google translating right now.
No, I'm not, because I can't pull it up on anything. It's not like I can copy paste that. So I know some of the characters.
I want to learn French. I've said this for a long time because in Europe, it helps to if you understand French, you can get around a lot faster than.
Oh, I mean, my daughter's learning French.
It's like because in Switzerland, it's like they all speak French, and you're like going.
No, they don't.
They did where I was.
The western side does.
Well,
the southern side speaks Italian, and the northern and eastern side speak German.
Well, Mr. Wizard, I'm sorry. Where I was at, Mr.
Wizard was a dick.
He was a dick.
Well, then I nailed it then, right?
Have you ever seen that supercut video of him just being a complete fucking asshole to all the kids on his show?
Hey, I remember watching it and being like,
awesome.
Yeah, like I had forgotten about someone, because I on some 80s group on Facebook, and it was like the guy in the spandex is all the internal body organs and bones and stuff. If you remember that when we were kids, and I was going like, I forgot about that dude. He's still fucking creepy.
Got the suit?
Yeah, he had the suit that had like all the lungs and all that stuff on it.
Mr. Goodbody.
Mr. Goodbody. That's it. And I was like, yeah.
Dude, I don't know where that came from. There's like this weird portion of my brain that retains all this shit from my childhood.
And you'd have to Google it. That was great.
Oh, that was
nice.
I did finally get a translation on that. So Matt is hiding something. So I should have recognized the first part because
makes sense.
Those first two are on my name when I think your
neighbors are hiding something too, but
one day my neighbor's gonna watch this and I'm just gonna be like, fuck.
Man, it'll be one bored neighbor.
Well, you're gonna be. You better have locks on your door.
We do have locks on it.
Well, I'm just saying that house has some issues. We know. You would know if you were part of the documentary.
Just turn the lights off, have the night vision on. It's like
I was going to say
the
the
lambs.
the part of Switzerland I was in, it was German, French, and they have two, I guess, Swiss languages or something like that. But it's like I went there thinking English would probably be like pretty dominant. I was wrong.
It depends on what part of. Are you talking about Switzerland?
I was in Zurich. I was in
Zurich,
yeah.
Yeah. Where about? I've been to Lucerne and
Lucerne, yeah.
Yeah.
I told you we went on that. We went to the Alps, and which she was when she was describing where we were going, it was Mount Tipplis. Anyway, she was saying Dickless.
Yeah.
Oh,
And because we're like, because it was my family and the Canadian family in front of us, and people from Chicago, they were just laughing there every time she Mount Tippa. I wish I could remember what it was, but she kept saying Dickless, and I go, is she saying Dickless? So the little small group that was with
Jack's like, she's not talking to me.
Yeah, really, I have a dick. But we were just busting up laughing, and she just kept looking at us. I'm like going, well, can she please stop saying where we're going? But if you can go to Switzerland, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful there, and the people there are the fucking nicest people. Maybe Nick had a different experience.
I enjoyed Switzerland.
Did you think
you
people were
only
nice
need
there?
like 2 beers because you're so high up, and the alcohol content's already high anyway. You're just basically hammered after about 2.
Let's go.
I mean, the McDonald's we went to,
right on.
we spent $50 on just getting a couple of hamburgers, and she said, when they charge, can I get some ketchup with that? She goes, oh, we charge for that. I go, that's okay. I already spent $50 on 2 hamburgers and a fry.
For real.
It's really no big deal. But I didn't go carrying on. I said,
Wow, it's that expensive?
That's that. I think I had talked about this before. Like, it's because beef is subsidized, in our country, whereas it's not in Europe. They don't have as many cows as we do because we have such open space. But yeah, if you go to this was 2012 or 10. I can remember last time when I went this one time. My tour guide friend, just for some reason, wanted to get a burger. And so we were walking by a Burger King one night. He goes, hey, let's stop here. I just want to get a Whopper real quick. Walked in. It was €7 just for the Whopper. That's like $9.50 just for the Whopper.
Yeah, when they gave me the price, I went, because we didn't get any meals. We just got basic hamburgers and French fries. It was like, because we were just hungry for lunch. Hey, there's McDonald's. Let's get McDonald's real quick.
You probably could have gotten like a fucking pork chop and it would have been cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. But we did eat at the restaurant up there at the hotel, and the hotel was I said they would come around at night, and they had a cart full of chocolate and all this different stuff that they would knock on your door with anything you want. It was all complimentary. You sit there, but we would give them a tip, and they go, "It's a tip." And they go,
"Yeah, they
oh, okay." They would take it, but it was no, you take it. It was almost got to the point though. I said because they gave you so much chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't take anymore. I've had enough chocolate.
There is a thing that they did a study about this. Like you reach a physical limit for chocolate.
I haven't figured that out yet.
There is
him, right?
like what's up?
That's what Jack's got behind him, right? Chocolate.
I assume that is a chocolate
some lemon heads in it,
or a Baby Ruth. So,
the Baby Ruth.
No, but.
That's not bad.
I think Chris said we should go to Switzerland. We
go.
We go to. Is it Belgium?
That's a little ways out of the way, but yeah.
We've only been invited.
We got to go to Belgium for our listener. That's right.
Right. So I'm just saying. Then we'll go to Switzerland.
We got to go to Bruges. It's like a little fairy tale.
John says goes to Burger Joint, orders a pork chop.
Actually, what I ordered there, I had duck for the first time. I'd never had, but it was duck wrapped in bacon.
Oh, duck is great.
That's good. It can be gamey, but it's good.
Yeah, it was a little. I was a little because I told the story before. The best thing I had there was the French fries. Fucking were amazing. They were the great.
They just call them fries there. Yeah.
I think the larger question here was it because I mean really like if you're gonna have duck, is it duck season?
I don't know because it was like there was a language barrier. So it's like when anything they told us to have, we got it. Was you think the McDonald's meal was expensive?
I think it was probably rabbit season. Yeah, you got off-season duck.
It's true.
But they when they made such a you want to try the fries? I go yeah okay yeah whatever. They were like no, they kept insisting. I go fine, bring the fries. I know you're Switzerland, but I'm getting angry here. I mean I'm getting about ready to break out my knife.
Yeah, for real, Randy.
Did you call them
fries
freedom fries by name?
Yeah, I did. I said I want the freedom fries.
Yeah.
I saved that for when I went to Paris. I said, yeah, just give me the freedom fries. All right.
It's the only time I've ever I've always.
You don't have my back, but I got yours. Give me the damn freedom fries.
That's another thing. It's the only time I've ever gotten a little irritable in Europe anywhere is because I always try not to be an American. I try to know some of the words. I try not to be obnoxious, and I try to try the foods. And so I'm at a bar with my friend, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get 2 beers, and it's like beer in French. It's like same spelling kind of, but just a little bit different. So I'm like,
what are you, Massachusetts?
So I'm like, yeah, but that's it. Yeah, beer. Like at 2 beer. Yeah.
Fuck
the bartender looks at me and goes, oh,
I do great in Paris.
Yeah.
No, they speak English in Paris.
Double beers.
The bartender though, because I'm just like, duh, beer, and he's like, oh, the American knows too. I'm like, fuck you asshole.
Yeah. Well, he didn't catch on when you walked in rocking a flannel and cowboy boots, dude.
Yeah.
With America. With America.
America. No way.
America. Fuck you.
God, I'd never wear my cowboy boots to anywhere like that. God, it'd kill me. All those cobblestone and hard floors, I'd just be like, God, kill my back.
Well, I know here in England, my wife, who I love dearly, but we had to keep saving her life because she kept looking the wrong way. Because when you're crossing the street, she almost got hit in Europe by people riding bikes 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it was like my girls were saying, "Mom," I go, "Pay attention," because you were so so excited to be there. But it's like, okay, being here and dying is not going to help you. You have to pay attention.
It's interesting because it's kind of like going to New York, or I would assume Boston too, because your streets are so narrow and people are just used to walking wherever the fuck they want. Because I've seen so many people, even on my tour groups, sometimes when I go, you don't see the streets because they're so small. You think they're like a little walkway, and then there's this little car coming down it, and then they'll just and then people slap the hood like, I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? He's like, oh, I just told
you. Can you translate in Japanese there, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, what is that in Japanese? Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not that guys, I'm a baby. I'm just
I expected.
I know.
I was going to go see a Japanese movie with you, and you could just translate, so I wouldn't have to read the captions.
I know Inu, which is dog, Neko, cat. About it.
Okay.
What's cat? What's cat?
Kuchi is mouth.
No, what's cat again?
Neko.
Kuchi is mouth.
Kaneko's.
I know, it's so weird that Kuchi is mouth.
Stop attacking me, Kaneko.
Am I?
Just watch Mr. Baseball.
Sweet.
Just watch Mr. Baseball. It'll teach you everything.
Underrated movie. I love. Did I say underrated?
Underrated. Yeah. You said underrated. Yeah.
Okay,
it's underrated movie. Yeah. It's.
I love Mr. Baseball.
I watch. It's one of those guilty pleasures. I watch every time it comes on.
Because it's a guy, and also another player the guy from Allstate.
It's true.
Is there on it?
Yeah, he kind of got typecast there for a while of just being the baseball player guy.
Yeah. No, Mr. Baseball. I love Mr. Baseball. Good movie.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because Tom Selleck, he got a bad rap after 3 Men and a Baby of going through a slump, but you have Mr. Baseball, which I like. You have Quigley Down Under, and there's one other one he did that's right there in the early '90s that was still a good film, even though they didn't make a lot of money. It's he still made good films.
The movie he made with Gene Simmons. I talked about this before. I can't remember the name. It was a futuristic movie where he plays a cop, and he's
yeah. But I thought that was in the 80s.
It was in the 80s, but it's a futuristic movie where now it's probably pretty common. But there was a scene where people were supposed to be, oh my God, and everybody was laughing in the theater. I go, I don't think people are supposed to be laughing. But I didn't hate the movie because it's Tom Selleck. How do you hate Tom Selleck?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the same as I always read that about Flash Gordon, is that they made that film to be a serious movie. They wanted it to be a serious film. But when they started showing all the test screens, people were laughing in the audience. They're like, this is not supposed to be a comedy. But everybody was laughing.
Really? Because it's a comedy to me.
Yeah, it is a comedy.
I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember watching it. It used to be on HBO all the time when HBO showed movies.
I didn't realize the same thing. I was reading that same article, that the actor who played Flash Gordon, it's 85% of all of his lines are dubbed over by a guy, a professional voice actor who did his voice. Yeah.
Well, he was a football player for the Jets, right?
Well, in the movie, I don't know if he was in real life.
I thought he was in real life.
Maybe real life.
A cameo in a movie. Flash Gordon. What the fuck was his name?
Sam something.
John is John saying the movie I'm thinking of is Runaway?
Yeah, that sounds right. It's got like a blue cover, red writing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
I can see the cover in my mind too. So
Yeah, he's wearing like a grayish blue. Yeah, I remember the cover of the VHS tape. But
it's a shame. It's a shame he did Magnum PI and didn't get Indiana Jones.
Well, if he did get Indiana Jones, they wouldn't let him do it because of.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know. And then it got pushed back, and he could have done it. Hold it. How well if he got the part on if he was Indy, would Magnum PI have lasted as long as it did? Because I'm sure there'd been pressure for him to do more movies. Because
would Indiana Jones have lasted as long?
Exactly.
I think it would. He's a good. People argue with me all the time on this one, but I'm not saying he's as good as Harrison Ford, but he has the comedic timing and he's a good actor. So it would have worked.
That's it.
And with a movie poster like this.
Oh, that's with the girl from Dirty Dancing. That's right. And Gene Simmons.
Really?
That's a girl from Dirty Dancing. It's not. She's not Baby. She's the one that gets pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And Kirstie Alley is also.
She's in it.
Apparently, I'm looking at the little thing here, and it says that she's in it. So
she's been popular on Twitter. She's been popular on Twitter.
The
last couple of days.
Speaking of Kirstie Alley, yeah, like Will Fry is not here for.
Wait, isn't it Kirstie Alley?
Kirstie Alley, yeah.
It is, yeah.
He put on Facebook the other day that he will always be a Diane person over.
Who did that?
Will Fry, one of our listeners.
Will Fry.
He'll always going to be a Diane over Kirstie Alley's character. Why am I forgetting her name? On Cheers.
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long. He's like, I'm always a Shelley. I'm a Diane over. I'm like, oh, that's a bold choice. Because it was like I like them both, but they're two totally different characters. Like I like when Kirstie Alley did Cheers, but I also like Diane. I don't know.
I'd go with Kirstie Alley. I think she was.
Yeah,
funnier.
she peaked as
yeah.
a Vulcan for me. Like that was like everything after that.
That was something I never understood why she turned down Spock. Star Trek 3, because that was a much bigger role than she had in number 2.
Well, she wanted to be Khan.
She wanted to be Khan,
and they told her no.
Ironically,
Roberta Khan.
Ironically, she's being conned right now, but whatever.
She was, Roberta. He was in the TV show, so we want to go with that one. She was upset. She couldn't play the part. I like Miami Mike. If Colts had just drafted Trent Richardson, would have been in the Hall of Fame. Well, they should have traded. They should have traded Colt McCoy, not Colt McCoy, Manning.
So speaking of the Colts, you saw the game, right, Jack?
I did.
Because I did not, and it sucked because I started to watch it, saw that they were behind,
I'm telling you how to watch
and I was like, and then thanks. No, I appreciate the info on that. So because. Yeah, my antenna signal is real spotty that day. We had some clouds or whatever. I was just not getting the signal. And
there's some bad vibes coming from next door.
When's the last time a team from the Midwest won a championship?
Well, I'm from San Diego. I'm not bashing anybody.
Are you talking about like where are you defining the Midwest? Because I feel like the Midwest is pretty large. Because people in
Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin.
Because Wisconsin's got Green Bay.
It's true.
So,
I'm saying when's the last time? Other than the Cubs, it's the last time I can think of a team winning a championship.
Oh yeah, the Cubs. Sure.
The Cavaliers won a few years back.
Oh yeah, I always forget about basketball. Yeah.
Me too.
So there.
Well, yeah, me too. You know what sport I like? Uno. And what a better way to do a versus than what's your favorite color from Uno? I kid. No, Nick had kind of gave me the inspirational push to do the RCAD logo or whatever we do for this show. Yeah, it's fun. And the C wasn't as good as the A, but I figured, every time I try to do these things, it's always kind of a little bit of a creative, like, huh, what am I going to do?
Did you have a question on the Colts game?
Oh, right.
When did the comeback start? What was the best play for you? You know, just I don't know, like paint me a picture.
Well, for
with
me,
your words and not
for
with
me,
shit.
I've been getting frustrated because Frank Wright has been so concerned. So, I mean, when you're watching the game, and I'm just a fan, and you know what play is going to be run. Well, what do you think that the other team knows? I mean, it's what made Belichick so great before this season is that teams couldn't figure out what he was going to do, you know, and he knew it was like chess. He knew the moves before you made the moves. And they finally let Rivers be Rivers. Open it up. Stop with the run, pass. Run, pass, run, pass. So that's what it was. They just let Rivers open it up. Because at first, the same fucking thing they've done all season. Run, 1 yard, run, 1 yard. Now it's 3rd and 8. So what happens on 3rd and 8? Everybody knows you're going to pass. And so they're blitz and all that. So they were opening up. They were only passing on 1st down, throwing it. And so Rivers was Rivers.
Well, do you think that they were probably a little bit more conservative given what happened with the Browns and all of the interceptions that kind of befell him that game?
Well, with the Browns, though, he was under so much pressure. I mean, Rivers is a statue. I mean, he's if you don't make a pocket for him, he's probably not going to be successful.
Oh, I mean, so he's basically like Manning.
Yeah, Manning, Tom Brady. It's not like you have with Mahomes, where Mahomes, oh, he's pressured. Oh no, he's out of the pocket. Oh, he's running all over the place. That actually helps him. But you know, when you have your pocket passers, you have to have a pocket to throw in. Sunday, he had a pocket. He was throwing. He had good. I mean, I even had Danny Woodhead tweet me today. Danny Woodhead tweeted me today.
Really?
Wow,
yes.
Nice.
So there you go.
Oh shit.
Danny Woodhead. And I think I might be taller than Danny Woodhead.
You definitely are.
Yeah, but I love Danny Woodhead. But anyway, no, I think that's what the difference. Their defense looked. Oh my God, it was like they were just march. Cincinnati, the first 3, boom, march down.
Mike's asking a question about Rivers and how old does he look. Mike, I just want to say that the only thing that was on the only station that I could actually get was the Dolphins game, and I was like, fuck this noise. This was like so boring to watch the Dolphins, even if they're winning. It's just like whatever. Like
no, I think Rivers looks like Rivers. He's played like 249 consecutive. He's never since he started. He's never sat. He's like the Cal Ripken fan. Big what?
You have the most disgusting background. You know that, Jack, right? Like
I thought you were talking about Nick.
Yeah.
As a Hoosier, learning Japanese and embracing like everything Japanese, it is offensive to the eyes.
Hoosier is a great movie, by the way.
So I think I figured it out. I think I figured out what Matt's doing. So Matt's learning Japanese because he's preparing for the event in which Trump wins the re-election and we go into total world war, and Ohio gets taken over by the Japanese Empire. A la Man in the High Castle.
He doesn't live in Ohio.
Or India. Shit.
It's the same place, but I wonder.
They take over the old Midwest. Yeah. Wouldn't you think that's carved up for Russia? But okay, go ahead.
So,
I like where you're going with this.
In Japanese, so he can be like the the arts dealer from A Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, that's what it is. Fucking traitor. Fucking traitor, Matt. Actually, no. If you look at it, do the profile again, Matt. No, the other way. You do look like the trade dealer. You look like the art dealer in Man in the High Castle. Am I right?
Cheers.
I mean, the cross between the Man in the High Castle art dealer and Edward Snowden. I think you're ready.
I think you're ready, Matt. Can you put in a good word for me because I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak German.
I don't either. I'm just. It was just more of kind of like a. It was a weird thing for me to just kind of be like, oh, I mean, not weird, but it was natural in the fact that my mind was already working with puzzles.
You're past midlife, so the crisis should have happened a while ago.
Well, this is better than a tattoo. It's kind of like a brain tattoo. I always said if I went through a midlife crisis, I'd get an arm tattoo.
Maybe we should all learn how to speak a language.
While you're there.
a foreign language.
Oh, you think that just the Japanese thing? That's it. That's
Oh, there's other things too. You know,
oh, okay.
all the late night basement paintings and cat collections and
He's creating his own art that he can sell.
exactly.
I've been painting in my
He's the
basement
collector.
since
Yeah,
I was-
he's going to go to the Japanese market and sell his art. You know, like yeah.
I'm done with this show. You guys,
Here, Matt. Here's your
Yeah,
artwork
please.
from the People Next Door.
Oh, the headline.
There you go.
I was thinking that you were making kanji. I was like, what kanji is this?
Yeah, so
I'm
there
not
you
familiar with
go.
it.
There's no heads on them.
Yeah. I
Because
don't
we're going to
know why you
verify
had to
that
draw breasts
when
on
we
all
go
of them.
there, we're going to verify. I forgot we have to go to Franklin. So it's Franklin, Belgium, then somewhere in Switzerland, right? So we'll have to go to Franklin first.
Why Franklin
we-
first?
we-
That's where we're doing the documentary.
That's where the documentary is.
Oh.
That's where we're getting our money to travel for the documentary.
I mean, we got to go to Amsterdam too. We can't go like to Belgium and then not go a little bit north to
I'm afraid I'll get
Netherlands.
lost in Amsterdam and never leave.
Oh, I will definitely get lost in Amsterdam, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there.
It's interesting. I like it. It's pretty. There's lots of colors.
Speaking of colors, what is your favorite Uno color? Like, are you kind of like a red?
I'm gonna go
Like
with
when you're playing, like you blue. Mhm.
Well, if you were learning Chinese, it would be red for you, wouldn't it, Matt?
that would be Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese.
No, we are not going to go with colors, and don't even know what. Why red?
Because better dead than red, right? Communism.
All right,
We're not in the 50s anymore.
no,
We're getting
no,
there.
we're not.
My bad.
Did you say your dad or my bad?
My bad. Forget I said anything. I just forget.
I always was a fan of the green cards. myself.
Yeah, I almost picked it up. I got you.
I got it right away. Good job, Matt.
No problem. Chris is just like, I'm good. I'm done.
But I think I've said this before. Like, Amsterdam is cool, but the greenery is better in Copenhagen.
Isn't it Copenhagen?
You can say it either way. It's like Caribbean or Caribbean.
No, you can only say it's. You can't say it's not the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but it's Copenhagen or Copenhagen.
Well, but people say Copenhagen.
They both say both.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
On this show, we all say Copenhagen.
Okay.
So do you go
Anyhow.
on a Caribbean cruise or a Caribbean cruise?
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. It's
A Caribbean
Pirates of the
cruise or a
Caribbean.
Caribbean cruise? I would say I would probably go on a Caribbean cruise.
I've been on a
Yeah.
Caribbean cruise at Disneyland, so I'm gonna say it's Caribbean.
You're the reason why they had to get rid of the parts where the pirates are chasing all the prostitutes around on that ride, by the way.
Yeah, I was.
They're real.
Anyway, so like, yeah, there's a little area. There's a little area.
That's part of the ride.
There's a little area on the eastern side of Copenhagen called Christiania, and it's basically a circumference area where there's no laws whatsoever. And
No laws.
no laws. Yeah, and so it's like a little hippie
Wait,
commune type area.
Can you say laws again, please, for me?
Laws,
Wait, there's no laws.
laws.
There's no laws.
There's no jokes.
Law.
There's no laws in Copenhagen.
I'll say whatever I want to say. You understood, didn't you?
I know. Sorry.
Anyway, but it's one of those places
I'm
you
the
can walk,
last one to be criticized.
but yeah, you can do drugs and everything there, and it's it's a little bit better.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can
I mean,
kill people?
it's not like you just it's not like rampant lawlessness, but like it's just a what do you want to call it, like a community area where they don't let the police come in. It's like they can just they're free to do what they want, live their lives. I don't mean like it's like a Las Vegas, but it's like it's just they don't.
They have police in Las Vegas.
I know, but I'm saying, but it's not like crazy, like where you see like crazy, because Vegas shit's crazy. But I mean, like, it's just an area where it's like, hey, I want to go smoke some weed. I want to, do whatever. Like, cool.
Maybe you got the flippers. People with the cards. Every 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. You just take the cards and go,
Matt, you look puzzled. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really?
You heard the flapper,
Reno
the flapping?
as well. I've
You know what I'm
never been. I've never been to Vegas though, as an adult.
Ah.
all
like
right.
As a
Change the
as a-
itinerary. Franklin, Vegas.
We go to make money on this shoestring budget of a fucking documentary. We make a couple of bucks. We then go to Vegas and try to triple our money to then
On
fund the
Bitcoin.
rest of our trip.
House always wins.
Right.
And, the thing is, we'll probably win it. We'll probably win it all. Like, we'll probably be up, like, let's say we have $5 and we're up like $15. And then Jack goes, hey, we need a double or nothing. And then we just lose it all. And it's like, fuck.
Well, it's $15. I mean, what do you
Or
really?
whatever. Let's say $1,500 then.
There's no lulls.
He says shoestring budget, so I assume we have probably $5 to our names.
Yeah.
I want to put in one last lull in this show.
I didn't say lull. L-U-L-L.
No, I meant like a commercial break, like an actual lull.
I see.
Randy says he hates Vegas.
We need to have the lull.
Every now and then we pull it together and we say something funny. The rest of the time, just us hanging out, shooting the shit. So
I blew my load in my first joke. I haven't said anything.
pretty much. Keep blowing loads all over the place, though. You don't have to hold it in or explode it at the beginning.
We just don't need a black light, right? Because I guess it'd be perfect for your way you have your setting right now, right?
Yeah. I'll have to hide the evidence here. Hang on.
Finish that pop. Did you finish all that popcorn?
That's actually to me one of the best subtle but yet not subtle jokes in Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, where it's like Gamora's like going, your ship is disgusting, and then like Star-Lord's like, you think this is disgusting? Take a black light to this place. It's like a Jackson Pollock painting. I'm like, God.
I'm glad that jokes like that just fly right over my son's head.
Yeah,
Just, like,
for real.
no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, but he'll get it one day. Well, it's like
Galaxy that Chris Pratt is taking heat today on Twitter. He's the bad guy today.
Yeah, I don't know what he said, but apparently he doesn't do social media a lot, and
He belongs to a church that's not, I guess.
that's what. Yeah, his family's. Yeah, right.
I just read it real quick before we came on. I go, people hate Chris Pratt now. What's going on? I go, oh well, it's Twitter. We gotta hate someone.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah, but it's like in like the Goonies. Like how many jokes in the Goonies as a kid fly right over your head?
Oh yeah.
And then you're like, holy shit, I can't believe they got away with this, in the 80s, I mean, think about like especially Mouth, in the part where like he's talking to the maid in Spanish, he's talking about all the drugs and the heroin, the drawers.
Yeah.
You're just like, good God,
Halloween in
See, Mouth inspired me to learn a second language. I was like, you know what? Like I could go with something that I would actually use, like Spanish or perhaps even learn French with my daughter. But no, I was like, what are these? I mean, I want to know more about kanji.
I need to learn Southern.
You do. You think after all the years you've lived in the South, you would know it by now.
Well, I've told you before, I understand people a lot more than I did when I first came here.
Yeah. When I say laws,
I knew exactly what you meant.
if I say all,
Nice timing, Matt. That was fantastic.
yeah, exactly. Laws. Yeah.
That was
You've been
some of
starving,
your
Matt.
best producing work to date.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait.
You've inspired me, Matt. I'm gonna start learning French. I've been talking about it for like 5-10 years. I'm gonna learn it.
I'm telling you, pick up Duolingo. Just try a couple rounds. It's like a game, So,
And then I'll have Shandy test me. No, that
there are other apps out there. I'm just because I downloaded several of the free apps for language just to look up different things and practice different. I think very early on I was like, oh, I'm going to use this app, and then after a while I was like, I really don't like the way this is formatted. And
you like
the
game one, right? What's it called?
I like the game Duolingo. So
Oh, yeah,
I've heard of that one.
DUO.
Yeah, yeah.
Lingo.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, my daughter used it for quite a while to learn Chinese. So,
Wait, Chinese.
In Mandarin.
she had a friend in when she was in I believe it was
Languages that she speaks.
fifth and sixth grade. No, her friend was Chinese, and so she was using it to learn Chinese so that she could communicate with her friend. She did win. Actually, she won a foreign language award though at her school. So I'm really yeah. So she brought her awards home from basically last year because everything shut down. Well, she had an art award and she had a foreign language award for her classes. So,
Nice.
but
Miami Mike says, make sure you pick up Duolingo and not Dua Lipa.
and just right now, we're all translating what that means.
She's an artist.
Oh yeah, Dua
Yeah.
Lipa.
Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa. Break My Heart. Official video.
Oh well,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you should pick Dua Lipa up then as well. So, to each their own, my friend.
So what are you drinking today?
This is
how fancy. Get him.
this is some type of
language. Get a special drink.
Looks like he's even got like a little seasoning on the top of that thing. Look at him. He's got like a proper cocktail.
Is that
yeah,
cinnamon?
it's got a little bit of cinnamon.
See,
yeah.
look at that. Yeah,
There you go.
It's a what did my wife
it was like a
call
baby
it? It
Yoda.
was-
A baby Yoda. It's green with a little.
No, it's actually kind of tan, but tiramisu. That's what it was. It's a tiramisu kind of martini. So
Oh,
she made one, or she was making one, but because she was making one,
And she said,
Yeah,
"Well,
maybe
my husband's losing it, so let me make him a drink too."
my husband's podcast
going through a midlife crisis. He's in his mid-40s. He's learning Japanese.
It was just kind of like a casual thing, you know, like
That's a very
Like,
nice
hey.
thing to do.
And she goes,
You
"Why do
know?
you spend so much time at the neighbor's house?" Oh,
I got margaritas in takeout today from
Oh.
99.
I'm not a fan of margaritas.
Margaritas to go.
I'm not a fan.
Interesting though, you go and pick up the takeout there. If you have booze, they have to put it in the trunk. They can't put it in the car with you.
Is
But what's to
this like a
stop me
Massachusetts law?
from pulling over in the next parking lot over and just throwing that margarita back? Nothing you can do about that. But I
Well,
did.
but for them, they said, "Okay, we put it in the trunk. It's his fault."
Liability.
that's what she said. Anyway, what else before we end the show?
I did want to
any-
say I've my son a year probably a year ago he gave me the book that he had read, Alexander Hamilton. I started it and it was like boring because boo-hoo, he had a bad childhood. You know, it was like, okay, I get it out.
He's no John Adams.
No, he's no John, but I really like the part where they actually get to the part where it's 1776. That's the Revolutionary War, all that fun stuff. So anyway, but now I've seen I can't do this. I can't do this. I've seen was it HBO? Who had the Alexander Hamilton thing?
Yeah, the HBO, the musical.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Or
now
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So now every time I get to Hamilton, my first thing is Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton.
So it completely throws me off what I'm reading. I got to stop, regroup, and then another line later, Alexander Hamilton. I cannot read the damn book without singing that fucking song in my head.
I've said it every time you've mentioned it.
People might think I'm kidding. No, literally, one page took me like 10 hours, but I kept going, Alexander Hamilton. And I'm like going, oh fuck, please stop. So now I should have read the book before.
The music, I will say, is so infectious that my kids, they were at a friend's house over the weekend, and apparently while they were there, the other girl played some of the music, so that later when they came home, I had just casually mentioned something like, I don't know if it was, wouldn't it be nice, or something about having something on your side. And they immediately started singing, "Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to have Washington on your..." So they immediately started going into that song, and it's like I hadn't heard that song, but it was like just a few key words like triggered it for them. So.
Yeah, I literally I'm like going, fuck, I should have read this goddamn book before, because like I said, I had trouble getting he has a fucked up childhood. I'm not gonna question that. Uh-oh.
Text from your neighbors, huh?
No, it's
I know what it
Amber
is.
Alert.
Out of the house.
No, it's
There's a gas leak in the neighborhood.
it is an Amber Alert. So
See,
but, you know.
people are just going missing.
Oh, it's an Amber
Different
Alert
city.
next door. Isn't that special?
It's an Amber Alert for me.
I
What is
I will
happening?
I will say, because everybody seems to love stories about my neighbors, and God, I hope
I don't think
no
anyone's
one
ever
listens.
inquired about your neighbors other than
No,
Jack.
you're the one who keeps telling these stories, man.
I don't even want to talk about them, but anyway, they started trapping. Like, I think he was inspired by my trapping of squirrels, so he's been trapping possum.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't trap possums, dude. Possums are awesome.
See, that's the thing. Possums are like so. My
they're
wife,
really beneficial.
yeah, they are.
to
They
your
like
local
they
ecosystem.
exactly.
Well, what the
So-
fuck do squirrels do that's so bad?
Squirrels are a rodent.
Yeah, and they carry fleas and ticks with them and stuff like that. So no, like, but
So you
possums
sent the
are
disease to another
cleaners.
community.
Well, Jack.
By trapping the squirrels, you said fuck the town next to you.
No, they
Nobody
went
cares
out
about
into
the
the
town next door. Yeah.
No, they were basically city squirrels that went out to the country to live upstate.
And
They
have
can't, they can't live. You know, those city squirrels don't have a chance in the country.
Like,
Then they're part of the
free food.
ecosystem, and they help out the other
Circle
people.
of life.
those squirrels are on the corner like now. We'll work for nuts. Right?
The winter's coming.
I'm
They haven't got
with
the
you there, Nick,
stacks
about the possums, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I'm
say
not
anything to
a
them
fan
about
of
it.
possums.
Well,
They are kind of
they're
freaky
weird.
if
They're
you
weird looking. Yeah, they hiss at you, but you know
and they're ugly as shit. But
We
they
did a
do
possum
help.
years ago playing possum in our backyard, and my two dogs were going after it. I got the two dogs and said I couldn't tell, but it laid there all night long, literally all night long, laid there like it was dead. Next morning I wake up, I go, it's gone. So either he was playing possum or one of the hawks or vultures got him. I don't know,
Oh,
but he was gone the next day. Literally just lay there.
well, that's what I was going to do on this
I like
podcast.
on this podcast. Yeah.
No, I brought shit. I had stories to tell. You
Please
have
do.
never once explained your background, Jack. Go ahead. What is this?
art. It's art. I
I get it, man.
we had all our grandkids over, and I was showing them how you make. I said, "Well, you want me to show you how to make poop?" And of course, Alex, Jay's youngest son, wanted to see how do you make poop, and so that's why I made poop, but with corn in it. And then
Where's this other phone going off?
actually, you have to poop it out too. That's what I did.
You pooped it out.
I
Can
pooped it
someone please take Jack off of the fucking
Sorry, another Amber Alert was going off here.
Because
So
corn, whatever reason, when you eat corn, you chew corn. What happens the next day when you go
You
to the
don't
bathroom?
digest corn.
But you know what? Nobody wants to hear about that. That's why we're losing listeners left and right. You know, it's like
We're losing listeners left and right because of my corn cock, and not because
yeah.
your corn story,
I mean,
but-
I have this cool ass dune picture behind me,
Like
and
that
you
last piece of corn there in the bottom just did not want to
But re-
leave.
Really,
It is.
your picture to me though.
It is dripping out.
you know
to the
what?
side there.
It's corn. It's yellow Play-Doh. That's what I am. That's yellow Play-Doh.
You made this, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, that was the rough part too. Like when they got that part come out, you're like, oh, what was that?
He had the Play-Doh scissors,
Mhm.
and he goes, "Can I cut your caca?" I go, "Sure." So he wanted. I made white caca for him. I made green caca for him.
Dude, if you have white caca, you're dead.
You
Okay,
gotta go
like
see the doctor, man.
you
Yeah.
got to like. There's
Yeah.
actually a couple colors. Like no, seriously, like in all seriousness, if your poop is green, or white, go to a doctor immediately. Like you are probably dead.
Green.
Maybe not green,
Green.
but white. Green's bad.
Green's bad.
Yeah, like for poop colors.
Well, I'll put something in that box and ship it out. See what they say. In that box that follows you around. I want your poop. You look healthy, but you don't know.
It reminds me of that scene in Out Cold. Did you guys see that movie?
No.
Really? Oh man, it's not a great film. But it's basically
Chris hadn't seen it.
So it's always about these slacker guys that like work at a ski resort, and like Lee Majors buys it, and it's just like a weird movie. But like they're trying to fire all the guys that have been there, and this one guy is just a straight up pothead. They're like, here's to you guys failing your very first random drug test. And the guy is so done drugs so much of all of his life, he has no clue what's going on. So they grab him and they're like, go to the bathroom in the cup, and so like all these guys are coming back, with urine, big turd right in the cup. You're like, good God.
What's it called? Lee Majors is in it?
Yeah, Out Cold. It's like 2001, 2002.
Who's
We have a poop chart.
Oh wow.
What's going on here?
There's your title of the show, Poop Chart.
Yeah.
White clay well, it was clay. Isn't Play-Doh kind of like a clay? Right?
I don't think it's clay. It's
it's like it's
usually made from, because you can make your own Play-Doh, so it's usually like flour and something.
Zach Galifianakis is in it.
Yeah, it's like one of his first films. Yeah, there's some parts that are okay, and some that are really, really.
I'm a huge Lee Majors fan. I can't believe I haven't seen it. Maybe I have.
Yeah, like 2001 test. It's basically a ripoff of Casablanca, but it's.
Oh,
it sounds like it'd be a ripoff of Casablanca.
You wouldn't think so, but it's just like how Wrath of Khan is a ripoff of Moby Dick. It's very subtle, but it's there. But like the same thing. Yeah, it's just one of those weird movies that like you've seen it and you're like, oh yeah, it's just a guilty pleasure film to get stoned and watch.
I'm gonna have
Thomas Lennon's in it too. I have to watch this.
Interesting thing that I saw on IMDb today. There were 3 actors that share their birthday today. So it kind of I saw them and I was like,
let us guess.
Okay.
What is today? October 15th?
October 20th.
20th.
John Wayne.
Actors.
No.
John Wayne.
Now, one of these
Kamala
actors
Harris.
is no.
It is.
Donald O'Connor.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, I was talking about actors that I saw on
It's a
IMDb.
birthday.
So you don't know if John Wayne's birthday is today.
You're totally you like took away this thing that I was just gonna blurt out, and then you're
Okay,
like, let's
go ahead.
guess, and then you're like just making fun of me.
I
'cause
thought it was
don't
gonna
know
be a
about
fun
John Wayne.
game, but go ahead, make it your game.
Okay, William Zabka from Cobra
Yeah.
Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
Who's John?
immediately like, oh. The other one, I don't think you'd ever guess, was Viggo Mortensen.
No.
Oh yeah,
But a
doesn't have-
solid act, I was like, oh,
he played
The
John
third
in,
one.
Karate Kid.
the third one, from The Office, John Krasinski.
Who played Johnny from Karate Kid?
It's also Snoop Dogg's birthday.
All right.
No,
And
I
it's
know we
Snoop
talked
Dogg's
about this
It's
before.
also Snoop Dogg's birthday. Yeah.
Oh, I think all 5 of the people that we've mentioned so far should come together, have a birthday album.
Can we
worth
talk
the
about?
arts.
I know we've talked about before John Krasinski. What's his real voice? Does anyone know?
What's his real voice?
Because on The Office, he doesn't talk when he was doing that good news thing.
It's called.
Yeah, he does talk different on the good news thing.
But on his voice on The Office and when what's his Ryan
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan.
It's
the
actually
same
your name,
Yeah, I know.
Jack Ryan.
It's like I stopped playing that. Remember when that trivia game was going around? And remember you play different people and stuff like that. How many states? I ended up quitting because of this question. How many states start with the letter P? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I go, I'm gonna say 0.
Really?
There's one answer, Pennsylvania. Guess where I was born?
Yeah.
I said, "Fuck this game. I quit."
So along the same lines, Jack, I went into the post office today, dropping off some packages.
You see your photo on the wall?
No, I did not. And so what if my neighbors were on there? But okay. I'm going in, and I'm also going to buy some stamps.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, my boss, he really likes to have unique stamps. So I'm like, well, can you pull out the folder and just show me what kind of stamps you
You're a
have?
philatelist, are you?
So you're one of those people that holds up the line because you got to have the special stamp.
There was nobody behind me, and anybody that came in can fucking wait because it's my turn.
I hate people like you.
So
you out.
So no, there was nobody behind me. So what does it matter?
You have the stamp with a flower on it.
It is
You're stealing the
post office.
postal
I am at
worker.
the mouth of the river. You were boxes, etc. I am at the mouth of the river, post office central. Like
I still had to go to the post
stamps.
office and wait in line to get the stuff, and then
Look,
All right. Well, you didn't have to wait behind me.
You're taking up the time of the postal worker. They have boxes to damage, and you're
You
up
know what?
there. You're up there like, I want to see the latest stamp. Do you have the ones with the moon landing still?
Okay,
Do you have the first white stamp? Gotta have it.
Jack, you laying into me about, but you're holding up this whole podcast.
There have
you know?
been podcasts where we definitely bust Matt's chops. Tonight, he's
Endlessly.
getting
Like, I
fucking
can't even
destroyed.
get a word in edgewise. So I'm at the post office, or I'm ordering stamps, and I'm like, "Do you have the suffragette stamps?" And she was like, "I don't know what that is."
Suffragette
And I'm
City?
like, "Do you
They're both?
the suffragette stamps? They have the, And she's like, "I don't know." And so she pulls out this other portfolio, and she's going through them, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll take one of those." And I'm buying several sheets, so it's not like I'm not a paying customer. In fact, I'm probably paying more than. Anyway, fuck you, Jack. So she finally gets to the what?
Be quiet. That was uncalled for.
Yeah.
I apologize. And I want you to apologize
No.
in Japanese.
Sustained.
Okay, and she finally passes by the women's vote stamp, and I'm like, "Yeah, the suffragette stamp." And she's like, "Oh, you mean the women's vote?"
She didn't know the word.
I was like, "Okay, whatever." Like, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, but yes, I want that one. So,
It's
but
funny.
it was a funny kind of moment though, where I'm using the
Saying
same.
as a woman, she should have known that the stamp, that's what it was called.
I never said that. You said that.
I didn't.
Overall,
Point of the story.
I didn't realize. Good.
I think it's just a general term that people should know. As a part of history. So,
Yeah,
whether you're male or
History-
female or
history, like you think that like 6 weeks ago that
Back on Suffragette City.
it's 100 years. Women have earned the right to vote. It's great, and it's unfortunate that more people couldn't have came through with that law being passed, and
I mean, it took. That's what I was about to say. It took 5 years for it to be ratified. Which there's always like a 20-year stipulation for them to ratify a amendment to the Constitution, but it was passed by the Congress in 1915, but was not ratified fully until Tennessee ratified it in 1920.
because wasn't Wilson against it? Woodrow Wilson.
I have no idea. I know Wilson was one of the worst presidents ever.
I believe he was against it because someone was trying to
Probably.
give him credit
He
for
was.
passing it, but he was against. He was like real race. He's a terrible guy. No one should say, "Yay, Woodrow Wilson." He was just a terrible, terrible human being.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah,
It was-
it was-
In history books, it says it was one of the greatest things Tennessee is known for.
Yeah, it's because we were the only Southern state to vote for women's suffrage, for the right to vote, and the reason why it passed is because it was very split down the middle of the state legislature, and a woman, one of the senators' mothers, actually called him
Yes.
before he did his vote and said something. I forget what her line was to him that's written down, but it was like something very Southern, just like nothing like they wouldn't like do it for your mother. It was like something very like
We need this new law.
I mean, but history is a lot of times decided by something like this, though,
Mhm.
occurring. It takes one person to kind of step forward and usually, say something sensible that reaches, the person that makes the decision or overturns. I know with Lewis and Clark, when they were out west, there was a moment where they are on death's door. They've been lost, and they're about to, they're starving to death, nobody had died at that point, but they were
because someone took all the rolls out of the area.
No, they were lost, in the past there, but they finally found the Nez Perce, and they were actually going to kill him. But there was an older woman in the tribe who had been saved by a white person a long time in her past or what have you. And she was the one that was just like, no, like you should spare their lives. Like, as I was spared or what have you. And so it's her voice that kind of like tells the chief to like, no, we should really take them in. Like we shouldn't treat them as basically the enemy. And so they basically were nursed back to health and, were able to kind of continue on their journey. So.
There's so many.
I can just picture Matt at the post office explaining this entire story to the girls working.
And
No, you're
like 30 deep.
You're 100% correct.
Yes, I can see it. Can you imagine being the person who was standing behind Matt? I know there wasn't someone standing by Matt, but can you imagine being that person standing
like, down the entire city?
I just have a slip here that something's in my post office box. That's all I want. I want my package, and I have this guy.
I'm just trying to fucking vote, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to drop on my ballot here, and I have this guy talking about women's suffrage. I would like 5 sheets of these stamps, please. Those are the suffrage stamps. You mean the women's right to vote stamps? No, the suffrage stamps.
Let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you a story why they're called the suffrage stamps.
Did you know that Tennessee? It was all because of Tennessee.
And she's like, who the fuck is Lewis and Clark?
It's just like, look, I am not the Cliff Clavin in this scenario. Okay, I just went in, I got my stamp.
You know that the yeah.
Dude, man.
I need 4 stamps. I've never been in my kitchen.
You know what's great about that episode? It has nothing to fucking do with Kirstie Alley right now, so that's great.
You sure she's not in it? I think she's in that episode.
She is, but it has nothing to do with her. Anyway, that was good. Thanks for.
What about? We forgot about mentioning that because Happy Days is going to have a reunion in Wisconsin for the Democratic Party.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
What's his name? Scott Baio is not a Democrat, so John Stamos has offered to take the part of Chuck.
The Beach Boy.
Yeah, John Stamos said, "I'll do it.
I'll beat Shachi."
And then Scott Baio said, should you be taking care of Aunt Becky?
Ooh.
Which I thought was a pretty shitty thing to do because she has no part of this. I mean, it was stupid for him to say that. So the whole Twitter war going on. But John Stamos as Chachi, what do we think? Would that work?
Probably.
Sure. They were best buds in Full House days.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, what's his name? They were literally high school friends. Uncle Jesse and...
I don't blame him. I mean, I'd probably be the same way if I was a musician in a band or an actor or something like that. And then I don't like supporting politicians either way. I'd probably be the same way. Like, I'm not taking part in this because I don't want to be associated with a politician ever. It's like, Mike Love, because someone said the Beach Boys. Oh, Matt said the Beach Boys was John Stamos. Like, Mike Love owns the rights to the name the Beach Boys, but it's just Mike Love. Like, he is not the Beach Boys. And he's doing a benefit concert for Donald Trump in LA, I think in next week or something like that. And Brian Wilson immediately released a statement, him and Al Jardine, who are the other 2 living Beach Boys, we do not in any way endorse this as the Beach Boys. Cause it's like, yeah, and that's just one of those things you don't speak for everybody when you do those kind of things.
If you believe that way, that's fine. But yeah, you shouldn't be dragging the whole group into that. That's what I mean. Not to shit on your
move.
Thing,
but it's just kind of
it's a dick move.
I would like to clear the air about what was not a Twitter feud, but
your stamp argument with the
stamp argument. You in the post office.
No. You're
always trending on Twitter, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm not with no. Okay, I'm
You
talking about
want to know
Jack.
why the U.S. Post Office is going broke? Because there's always some guy up there explaining about why it's the suffrage stamps versus the.
Like, I want this week's episode drawing to be a self-caricature of a guy standing at the counter explaining to a woman.
With a guy behind him with like an armful of packages.
No,
So
with a
you're-
line.
Yeah, the line. Just
So you were mansplaining to this woman.
You are
I
mansplaining
did not
the
even
worst
go
thing
into
to
it. I didn't even go
mansplain.
into it.
Talk
No,
about that
I
for a
just-
second.
I just wanted the stamps. I didn't even you.
Not with
Use
the
a topic to mansplain, it wouldn't be women's suffrage.
All right.
Terrible choice.
I wanted to talk about.
the Apollo stamp or the Elvis stamp.
what did you want to talk about, Matt?
Okay, so Jack, unbeknownst to him, had made a comment on Twitter, and I thought it was very timely and very funny. So I just kind of responded, but then I felt like you got some heat for it, which I don't know why. But you had basically said, and it's a
Like I said, every 4 years, you have actors on both sides. I'm going to leave the fucking country if this guy's elected or this person's elected, whoever's elected. And
And they never do it.
first, they never leave. Second, I'm just tired of fucking hearing it. Third, a lot of us would like to leave the country, but we can't afford to. So you're being especially during a pandemic, you're just being an asshole. If you're saying, I'm sorry. And then you said something. I didn't know that President Trump had said, basically, I think he said, I didn't even hear him say it because I don't listen to him. So when you said it, I saw the clip. He said, maybe I should leave the country. I think that's what he said. And then someone else said something like to the effect of, no. I was like going, well, that's not what I was saying, but that's okay. And I basically said what I was going to say. But I don't care. If I put something on Twitter, I'm not afraid. I've said it. I meant it. I'm sick of people.
I didn't really think there was a huge Twitter. It just seemed kind of interesting that and I'm there with you. I mean, it's like, well, it's like, on both sides, like why make that claim or that proclamation? It's a bit narcissistic to say like, oh, it's about me and proclaiming it to everybody to know like, oh, if this happens, like you're gonna miss out on this.
Because I said
know it.
Because I said instead of just saying fuck it, I'm going to leave. Why don't you stay here and make it better? Is what I ended it with, and I truly believe that. It's just like, and that's not a love or leave it thing. I'm not you. If you don't,
I do think though, if you're being persecuted or feel like your life is being threatened in a way because of the way you live your life, is being threatened. I mean, a la what we witnessed during the Nazi takeover of Germany,
I'm the chat.
I figured you were just laughing at me, like talking about like history shit and stuff. But whatever. Like, I just feel like it's one of those things that when certain people are being persecuted, or if your life feels threatened because of where you live, then by all means, like
but these people they're just out of touch. So every time they say it, it's like, and I'm not against rich people and famous. If I was rich and famous, I wouldn't apologize for it. But it's just, that's what I was laughing at. But it's just like, first, we know you're not going to leave. We know you're not going to leave. It's a stupid statement to say. Just shut the fuck up. You can express your political views. I'm not one of those people. Actors shouldn't say anything. I don't care. You can believe what you want to believe, but nowadays you better, like, Kirstie Alley found out, you better be careful what you say, because you're going to be torn apart if you disagree with the masses. So, like I said, I just was like, stop. If you're gonna stay anyway, instead of saying fuck that person got elected, I'm leaving, say, you know what, I'm gonna try to make the world a better place and stay behind. That I would have more respect for the person if they did that than that. Oh, I'm worth $500 billion. I'm just gonna fucking leave. Where most people are just like going, how am I going to pay my rent next month with this pandemic and me not working? To me, it's just a stupid fucking thing to say, especially in 2020, where people are stressing. I go, how am I going to pay my fucking bills because I can't work?
I guess if you make over 400,000 and Biden wins, you might be like, okay, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Well, I mean, like, did you see we're at 50 cent? just tweeted that about that because
Sure.
they released what his tax bracket would
Yeah.
be because he lives in New
Right.
York City. It'd be 65%, and he's like, "Fuck that shit," you know.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean,
But,
I
you know,
would
there's
freak
other
out
places-
too if I was getting
Nobody-
taxed 65%.
Nobody wants to pay more. Nobody wants to pay
Yeah.
more than they're paying.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
But-
always laugh when people say, I
but-
should be taxed more. Well, pay more. No one's telling you can't
Yeah,
pay
exactly.
more.
Yeah, you can always pay more.
I think people are frustrated at the larger picture of the wealth distribution in America and the extremes that come with
Well,
that.
I get that. But that's not what I'm
And-
arguing. I'm just saying, but those people are the ones saying, fuck it, I'm going to leave.
Right.
It's just like, we'll
Right,
stay here.
sure.
Get better.
Or 50 Cent could go to another state that has a better tax bracket.
There's always Florida. There's always Texas.
I mean,
50 cents worth at least 64 cents in Canada.
And that's the second funniest thing you've said.
Hey, I'll take one out.
Boom goes the dime.
I'm trying to get political on my Twitter page. I like to have fun. Say fuck, like unless it's Dean Spanos or the Dodgers, but or if Danny Woodhead's tweeting me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
That's the only thing that concerns me. I don't exactly what you were saying, Jack. I don't care what anyone's political opinion is. I really don't. It's like you feel the way you do. You do you. It's like, hey, great. I get disgusted with people who have no empathy at all or try to understand other Americans. Because to me, like we're all Americans, and you should try to get along. Not to be total 60s, but it's like I was reading about a farmer who had a Trump flag up. And someone set ablaze his combine and all of his tractors, and he came out and they were all just gone, like on fire. And it's like, fuck. I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't like when I see politics anywhere, really, but it's just like, anyone has a different opinion to me. All four of us have different opinions, but I like to discuss them. It's like, hey, like Matt, oh, you think that? Oh, that's cool. Tell me why you think that way. Because you could change my mind. It's like, that's to me. Yeah. Like, why do you say laws? Like, but yeah,
I do think the sign thing is, I mean, although if you do put up a sign that says, a lot of nasty things, vulgar,
you're asking for it.
at that point, like, okay, like you've stepped into the realm of just being an asshole to everybody. But stealing people's signs, I mean, even in our neighborhood, like we're very conservative part of Indiana here. Well, let's just say this. We're on the edge. We're on the blue line edge. So you see a lot of where both are coexisting, but also pushing and rubbing a little bit back and forth. And so, there's coming into town, there's a corner property that has this nice, like, little Republican for Biden sign that they put up. Next day, it's gone. A couple days later, it's back up, because someone clearly was mad that, that was there prominent
I
in
don't
the
get
main
it.
thoroughfare as you come into town. But it's like, well, that's that person's property. So
I tweeted Jay out. I tweeted because I'm taking the grandkids for walks now and stuff like that, trying to get a little bit in shape. And when our neighbor had
I'm in Japanese. I get it. Yeah.
I am as I'm going along. The kids look at me like I'm crazy, but anyway,
So does my wife. Yeah.
someone had a sign out that said, "You can't fix stupid, but you can vote it out." And I said, that is hilarious. So I took a picture of it and sent it to Jay and Colleen because I figured they'd appreciate it. But, I wouldn't have, I was like, even if I was like voting for that person, I wouldn't be like offended by it. It's like, it's yours. It's your house. You're not doing.
That's a good one, Mike.
Oh, Miami Mike, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so, but no, it's like I said, I would never take somebody's sign. Maybe as a kid, as a fucking joke, I would do it. Okay, as a kid, I probably would do it, but it wouldn't be because for political reasons, just be because I was a kid and I was a dick. So that's what we did.
Sure.
Because I know I listen to all these people. I'm on the neighborhood thing. People bitch all the time about doorbell ditch and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I did it all the time. Doorbell ditch. I did want to talk about today. I have grandkids.
Fuck, we were ending the show.
We were.
Yeah, dude.
Just real quick, grandkids. I have grandkids. So we have a no soliciting sign. Right here's our doorbell, and we have that the camera one. It says no soliciting doorbell. First person comes up, and I'm got one kid and one kid's sleeping. I got the other kid. He's running around. I'm picking him up. I'm trying to change his diaper. He rings the fucking doorbell. I go, God damn it, because I'm trying to keep the other kid asleep.
Yeah.
Luckily, the kid doesn't wake up. Put some flyer on my goddamn. It's for Trump. Big huge fucking thing. I'm like going, what the fuck? It says no soliciting, right? Right. So 20 minutes later, I've switched the kids around. One kid's sleeping. The other one is awake because fucking Trump woke him up. And so then I'm sitting there and I can see them come. Like, got the camera. I go, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm saying it through the thing. No, thank you. Like, stay the fuck away. Well, they're Biden people. They ring the doorbell anyway and wake the other one up. So I'm like, fuck you, Biden. I'm like going, I got fucking Biden, fucking Trump. So no soliciting? Doesn't that mean do I need to have a sign up there? Ring my doorbell, I will shoot you.
Oh yeah.
Do I have to get that violent? I mean, literally, if you walked up to a house, and I get that these people are out there campaigning for their candidate. I get, and it's not easy because you're probably going up to a house where people are going to be like me and say, fuck off, I don't want to listen to it. But if you see no soliciting, would you ring the doorbell?
Yes.
I would not. But
Nick
I also
said-
know what suffrage means and soliciting.
Yeah,
So
you'd
I
be up
know-
there explaining me the stamp thing, and I'd probably just call the cops on you.
Hey, we'd like to discuss suffrage with you today.
Let me tell you about the importance of the stamp
Oh,
collection.
the suffrage, yeah. The wham
but
bam,
it-
thank you, man.
Am I right?
Mhm.
What's that paper you're holding there, Matt?
Some dolphin paper.
Well, actually, it's not dolphin paper. This is Bluegra. This comes from.
They call him
Germany.
Flipper. Oh, he doesn't know what a Flipper is.
These are my notes for closing out the show. You know.
Yes.
Close it out.
Go ahead.
Damn it.
No, go ahead, Nick. What
I
is the
forgot
last thing?
what were we just talking about before we got into
We were
Flipper.
talking about suffragist city
Did I get an answer? If it says no,
voting.
no
soliciting, yeah.
fucking doorbell. What do you say, Chris? You're the final vote.
Well, it depends on how I'm compensated.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on if my livelihood is dependent on me knocking on your door or not.
Well, your livelihood about being alive.
Well, you
No,
know, if it was
I'm not going to get a gun because I'm sick of it.
I know what you mean.
I think if I could protect myself if I walked into someone's house that was the old man fucking rolling up Play-Doh shit, I think I could defend myself.
What if I rolled up a thing that looked like a gun?
Oh well.
I say what you do is you rig up.
Is he breaking and entering though?
You need to rig up.
Your
some
door
kind
was
of
open.
situation. You
The door
know.
wasn't open. The door was shut.
Shit, I'm saying. But was it unlocked?
No, I don't.
Well, then
leave the
he's
door
not going to enter the house. Then
True.
you have to open the door.
Chris said he
Okay.
was sneaking in.
Just the other
I'm
day,
sorry, Matt.
I just randomly came across Ferris Bueller. It was playing, and it was the doorbell scene. I'm telling you, you put up a little fake doorbell thing there where they push it. What's that?
It was a Sunday night movie.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night movie. I just happened to see that it was on. And I was like, oh, cool, you know. And so it's like one of those movies that.
I'm sorry. In my weakened condition, I'm afraid I might take a tumble down the steps because.
You know, my
Exactly.
wife hates that movie,
Oh,
Really?
along with Beetlejuice.
I've seen
No,
it.
how
I've
can
seen
you
it
hate
probably over.
Beetlejuice?
We almost got divorced over it. Actually almost did, because we saw it in theater, and she goes, I go, what are you talking about? I go,
Now-
we're done.
I don't think we've ever actually discussed this. Like, what do you guys think of the theory that Ferris Bueller is not a real person? Have you guys heard that theory?
I've heard that theory.
Where Cameron it's really all Cameron. Cameron is Ferris Bueller. It's kind of like a Fight Club.
Oh yeah, sure.
Fight Club
I heard
scenario.
that, yeah.
Whereas in like, because like if you look at a lot of the scenes, that like it's a split personality. He's a schizophrenic. You know, like he's his his dormant personality is his true self, is Cameron, and then his outer projection is Ferris Bueller. So like everything like when they're in the Ferrari, he's tucked in there in like the thing, but like Ferris is driving it, and then like him kicking the car is really him being Ferris. Hating his dad. Like there's a lot of like really you could see that to where it's
wow.
like, oh,
In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he's giving his personality. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
At first, it's like John Hughes was not that smart, and I was like, oh.
But what about
sense.
Ferris's? But how do Ferris's parents come into play?
Here's
That's
where
a
I
good
think
one. Yeah.
here's where I think I can come in. This is what happens. Okay, he is actually in love with Ferris's sister, and he's projecting himself into that family in some kind of weird psycho way.
Wow. I like that.
He wants to be a part of that family in some way.
Is
It's
he-
like a perfect family to him.
Is he a stamp collector?
And Ferris Bueller actually was a student who died, and so he's thinking about like how he would take over
Save
that life.
Ferris.
And they're
Save
both
Ferris. Ferris is dead. Ferris
and
is
they
dead
both
already.
they both start off in the same thing. That Ferris is pretending to be sick, whereas Cameron is also pretending to be sick. It's like,
Weird.
it's like a lot of weird parallels that could
Do a
happen.
whole podcast on that. You guys want to do it now?
Oh, it's sad that you only brought this up till the end.
True.
So
I did want to say, like, I knew what Jack meant though about solicitors though, because it's one of the things about when you're in California, to register to vote, you have to do it at the DMV, and they have all of your information. Sorry, man, I didn't want to end it. But I would get so many freaking text messages all the time during the voting times. It's like, hey, do you support Gavin Newsom? And it's like, I would just be me and be like, no, fuck that guy, because you just text me. And they're like, oh, well, would you like to discuss why you don't want to vote for him? I just keep doing it. Like, sure, let's talk about why you're texting me. Well, I just want to be left alone.
Well, yesterday, Sydney had someone come to the door, and she was walking down the stairs, and she says, I have a no soliciting sign. She goes, I'm not here to sell you anything. She goes, I don't really care what you have to say. She goes, I felt bad for being so rude. I go, no, but I hear that I'm cooking dinner. I hear the doorbell ring. I go, the fuck?
You have a lot of visitors.
All of a sudden, because it's election time. And so people are, fuck you, I don't care.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, fuck you, I don't care. Where you can go to get all of your fuck you needs. And I feel like sometimes we don't take full advantage of the fucking after dark and just like let it fly. But here's what you do. You go to jandjack.com/Amazon, pick up your copy of Ferris Bueller, some Play-Doh so you can make art, or, maybe a copy of The Godfather. So there you go.
Did we lose Chris Sherry?
I'm sure she left a long time ago. She was like, this whole conversation is shitty. Hopefully some people stayed till the end. I know there are.
Well, she wanted entertainment, and the entertainment came later on. I apologize.
I appreciate everybody that joined us live in the chat. That is who I want to thank first. John finally made it. I know he was probably out on a UPS run. Randy, John, he showed up.
John from Kentucky, I think that's who it was.
Yes.
You knew it. Met by Laws.
I saw somebody else in the chat at some point that Kim, Randy, maybe I mentioned him already. But David, there was a David that was he had actually showed up. So and Chris,
Will was there.
And Will, I didn't see Will.
Yeah, Will didn't
Chris was there. Chris Dorn.
And Chris Skypeck. Thank you as
Chris
well
Skypeck,
for keeping it
Skypeck.
real. So.
Chris.
Anyway, if you want to become a patron, help the show out, help all of the Jack programs out. I hear the Mandalorian's coming back, and maybe that Ellen and Bruce is going to fire up the grill. Jack's really pissed about that one. Anyway, you can watch it at some point, but you're just going to be annoyed with all of our Star Wars talk, and
I started the right stuff, so I forgot to say that.
Oh, I need to watch that. It's on what channel? Amazon?
It's on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah, I need to do that. Okay.
It's if you've seen the movie, it's pretty similar to. Of course, they make what's his name look like a dick. But anyway,
Which one?
Who's first guy in space? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, Alan Shepard.
Alan Shepard. He just seems like a fucking dick.
Yeah.
My name.
So, Miami Mike was trying to guess exactly what I was going to do for patrons, but you're wrong. They're Uno card themed, of course, because that was our show tag at the beginning. So take that card back.
Sure brought the people in.
What?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The people. These are our special patrons that I'm thanking right now. Uno themed. Stick with the program. Take
just
that card
back. To me.
You just keep interrupting my names.
Go ahead.
See how it's take that card back like you're playing the game, and okay, whatever. That's the worst one. The Endless Eckhart reverse Richter maneuver. If you've ever played Uno, there's always that person that's like, reverse it back to me, reverse it back to me.
That sounds dirty.
I know exactly. Richter, damn near.
Ed, the wild card carrier, he's got one up his sleeve. Maggie, she matches all the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's one of those players that you're just like, ha, you don't have that. And then she's like flipping it back over, because she's matching up the threes. Joanne, who's waited all game, just like Jack, to play that wild draw 4 card and just stick it to someone, right? But you know what? She's playing against Greg, who just got Uno, and fuck you. The whole thing is over with. Greg won. Thank you. Thank you,
game.
making it was good. It was an interesting Uno game. There's a lot of switches. I thought Maggie might win it at some point, but there you go.
I mean, I think you probably should have gone with Miami Mike's suggestion.
Your suggestion? No, I'm not bringing in politics with the. It was Uno themed. You want to make the show card? You want to close out the show?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to close out the show ever because it never ever happens.
It does take a while to close out the show, and we made this a full 2 hours. So I hope listeners did get to this point.
We still got another minute.
We should close it because I think Jack's frozen, and I'd like to keep it that way.
He's faking it. Look at see. What a turd.
Great show, kids! 1 in a million. Support the arts and the old farts. We'll be back next week.